What's going on, guys? Today I want to talk a little bit about active and passive trading with the AI. I get asked this a lot about how do you determine what you want to sell, how much to sell, what's the difference between active and passive trading. So let's dive into this just a little bit and talk about some of the differences and some of the benefits and negatives of active and passive trading. So we'll start with passive trading because that is the most straightforward there is. The passive trading is where you go in to your trading post here and you set up a trade. You set up a passive trade where you tell it to sell a commodity when it's over a certain amount. I'm telling my trading post right here to sell fish when it is over 60. When the AI comes around to your trading post, it will then purchase any fish over the amount of 60 that I currently have. Now, how do I come up with the amount of 60? This is my way of doing it. You might want to come up with your own way of doing it, or you might want to modify it a little bit. But what I like to do is I go under the production statistics screen with Control Q. I look at my current demand, and I multiply that times 2 or 3. The number is kind of arbitrary. It's up to you. I like to multiply it by 2 or 3. And then I take that number, and that's how much I keep. So I have a current demand of 2. I multiplied that times 3. That gave me 6 or 60 fish that I want to keep in stock. That is enough to last me until, if I was to run, say I all of a sudden jump my demand up to 5 and I still was only producing 4. So now I'm underproducing fish and it's going to start eating into my fish stocks until I build another fishery. That 60 fish is more than enough to allow me time to fix my fishing industry and get more fish coming in. All I'm doing is creating a buffer stockpile. That's all it's for. And I'm selling anything over that buffer stockpile that I do not want. A lot of people run into this problem where they feel like they have to have all of this completely maxed out. They want their warehouse absolutely full with thousands and thousands and thousands of goods. And I am of the belief that that is a wasteful concept to adhere to. It is money that you're not making. It is production that is going to waste. It's just sitting there. Once your warehouses are capped out, you're not producing anymore. Your factories are sitting there with full output storages. They're not doing anything. The cogs of industry are no longer turning, and you are wasting money. Now, obviously, if you're sitting at 1 billion coins and you can't make any more money, that's a little bit different. But early to mid to late game, before you hit that 1 billion cap on your coins, especially if you are someone like me that I love to re-roll at the traders at like Eli or Old Nate, so I spend a lot of money re-rolling for items, at least until you get the Research Institute and you can start trying to craft them. So I need money a lot for re-rolling to get items. So this is a good way to fund that. If you're struggling just making money in general, selling your goods through passive trade is a good way to have a steady amount of money coming in just from producing goods. Never feel like you have to have a completely full warehouse. Set everything up. You can see I've got everything set up as either trade or the ones that have the dark green. You can see right here, like the bread is a light green. This is a dark green. This is a minimum stock. That's because I'm doing this in active trade, and we'll talk about that in just a second. So what's one of the downsides of passive trade? Well, the major downside to passive trade, there's two things actually. One is the cap on how much will be purchased. If we click the statistics statistics button right here on the trading post, this brings up our passive trade menu right here. You can see how much has been made by passive trade. As we scroll down through here, let's take a look at Madam Kahina right here. You're going to start noticing a trend. I'm not selling anything for more than like 1992, 1986, 1990, 1994. If we look at Archie right here, 1848, 1996. Are you seeing a trend here? We can't sell for more than 2,000. The neutral AI on the map will never buy more than 1,999 coins per trip. So the downsides of that, they're not going to buy a lot of your high tier goods. As you can see right here, Archie bought a fish, some schnapps, some work clothes, and some glass for 1996. Right here, he actually got some rum or sausages and fish for 1316. So you're starting to see the problem here. We cannot produce enough goods. The AI will not purchase enough of our goods that we're producing because it has a cap. Now, the expansionist AI are not limited to that. Unfortunately, it's gone right now, but Princess Ching did buy a certain amount of goods for far more than 1,000. It was like 2,700. However, the expansion AI, it doesn't always. What's the word I'm looking for it? They don't always buy. I mean, you can see Madame Kahina and Archie have come by a lot. Benta came by once 50 minutes ago, once 99 minutes ago. Princess Ching, it was, what is that? That's 64 minutes in between trips. So they're not very reliable to come by and purchase goods. The neutral traders come by quite often, and they will buy goods fairly regularly. It looks like, judging by the timers here, it's about every 20 to 30 minutes that they're coming by my trading post buying stuff. On average, you can see right here it was he had a 12-minute, and then it was only 4 minutes. But he had some where it was, let's see, or was it her? 88.4. Yeah, like right here it was almost 20 minutes in between trips. So it's the harbor activity, that's what that stat is. The harbor activity is how often the traders come by. That is still somewhat of a mysterious figure to a lot of us, and it's not very well explained in the game data files. So just know that it's anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes in between trips. It depends on the number of islands and stuff on the map. But they will come by more often than your competitors will to buy stuff. So 2,000 or 1999 coins is the maximum amount of goods that can be purchased in a single transaction. The other downside is, I kind of did touch on that already, is the time in between. It's very erratic at times, so you cannot always guarantee that they're going to come by, and when they do, they're only going to buy your low tier goods, typically up to artisan goods, and that's very rarely. It depends on what you have for sale and how much you have for sale. So how do we fix that? We want to sell more goods. We want to give more stuff away. Well, that's where the active trade routes come in. Active trade routes are done by setting the minimum stock value. That's what this number right here is for. This is your minimum stock. This right here tells your trade routes you set up yourself that you want that trade route to pick up everything over that stock amount. So I have, that is the diplomacy menu. I have a couple of these routes right here. Let's take a look at one. So I have a route right here going from Crown Falls. Let's actually go to Crown Falls while we look at this. That way we can see it right up close and personal. So I'm telling this trade route from Crown Falls to pick up coats, glasses, or coats, spectacles, soap, and bread. And he is selling that, the fur coats and the spectacles to Madame Kahina, and the soap and the bread to Wormways Prison. I'm selling these specifically because Madame Kahina does pay more for fur coats. She pays about 992 coins for a fur coat as opposed to the standard price, and Eli pays about 382 coins for soap as opposed to the regular price. I'm also telling it to buy coffee and drop that coffee back off at Crown Falls. And I'm also using that discard cargo button. That way, if coffee was full at Crown Falls, it would dump that and leave these slots right here open so it still can pick up these goods and sell that. This is how you are going to make most of your money from trading with the AI. Passive trading helps a little bit. Active trade routes are what you need to be doing. As you can see right here, we'll take a look at my... I don't typically sell intermediate goods or raw materials. I typically only sell consumer goods. As you can see, I don't have a few things set up. I need a trade route set up for penny farthings, champagne, gramophones, light bulbs, canned food I could be selling. But I have trade routes set up, active trade routes, because it's that, again, it's that dark green as opposed to the light green like the rum is at. You also anything that's a passive trade also has that arrow on it, so that's another thing you can look for to see what you have set up for passive trade versus active. So I have the minimum stock for sewing machines, soap, bread, fish, work clothes, sausages, fur coats, spectacles. I have passive trade set up, or active trade routes set up for all of those goods because I have a minimum stock. Minimum stock is also used if you are transferring things between islands, but that's outside the scope of this video. You might want to check my trade routes overview video for more information on that. So be sure to go and start setting up your trade routes to the AI using your active trade routes. There is, like, I have 650 out of 650 penny farthings. I'm wasting penny farthings right now. It's a waste that's sitting there. It's not doing anything. That is money that could be in my pocket at the moment. So I need to take care of that. Now, how do you know what something is going to sell for? Now, that is another question. I don't know how much something sells for. Well, it's easy to find. Again, go under your statistics screen, go under storage. It's right here. We can filter by purchase price or sell price. You filter by the sell price, you can see how much everything sells for. Gramophones sell for a whopping 11,000. Advanced weapons, 96.44. Steam motors, 70.20. Pocket watches, 3,300. So this is where you can find out how much something sells for and how much money you're going to get. Now, unfortunately, there is no current way to see how much money you're making on an active trade route. That is not available to us. We can go right here and look and see that, yes, this is our trade route right here that's selling the bread, soap, fur coats, and spectacles between Kahina and Eli and buying coffee, but it doesn't give me the amount. So unfortunately, we cannot see that. The only way to see how much you're getting is to follow the trade route when it sells something and see how much you made off of it. I can tell you this route right here typically makes me about anywhere from 110 to 140,000 coins every time it drops off. I have another route that goes to Isabella in the New World selling 50 tons of weapons every pop, and that right there is about 45,000 coins. So it is a ton of money. It is definitely something you should be doing. Don't let your warehouses fill up like this. It is a complete waste of materials. They're sitting there doing nothing, and you could be making a lot of money from that. So that's the differences between active and passive trade routes, the benefits of them. There's a few negatives. Really, the only negative comes from the passive trade route. Your active trade routes, to me, have no negatives. It is only thumbs up from those. The only problem might be is if you are at war with someone and you have people attacking your ships, you might need to guard your trade routes going around to the different AIs selling stuff. Also, one quick note, never set up a trade route to one of the competitor AIs. Actually, never ever set up a trade route to the competitor AIs. You can see right here, she was requesting wool, grain, wood, and pigs, but she's requesting 50 of each of those and 33 of those. As soon as those demands are fulfilled, she will no longer request that stuff and she won't buy it from you anymore. And she also only sells this stuff in limited quantities. Once it's done, she won't sell it again for a little while, if at all. So never set up an active trade route to a competitor AI. Only set up active trade routes to the neutral AIs. If you want to sell stuff directly to a competitor, like if I wanted to sell Ching right here, these 4 things, I would load up exactly what she's asking for, bring it down there myself manually, and sell it to her. So guys, that's it. That is active and passive trade routes, how they work, the differences between them, and what you need to be doing with those. Get your trade route set up, get those goods out of your warehouse, sell them to someone, and make a ton of money very easily early on. Thanks for watching. I hope this helped out a little bit and explained a few things for it. If not, if you have more questions, be sure to ask those down in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. It's a big help to me. It's a big help knowing that I am giving you, it's a big thing for me to know that I'm helping you guys. So be sure to subscribe. Let me know that you love the content, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Until then, take care.